namaste, good morning, good afternoon, or maybe even good evening in whichever part of the world you are joining us from. My name is Deepak Khemani, and welcome to Bloom. Bloom is the brainchild of Miss Payal Irani. Bloom is a flower that has blossomed and is spreading its fragrance across the globe. At Bloom, we are into physical and mental wellness, trainings, speaking engagements, and creating signature workshops and programs for corporates and individuals who want to go to the next level. Bloom has a powerful and a dynamic team which has been handpicked. They are the who's who in their respective domains and are industry veterans having an accumulated 200 plus years of experience. At Bloom, we strongly believe in co creation, collaboration, and teamwork. I invite each and every one of you to be a part of Bloom where together we grow, and as Bloom blossoms, it creates ripples the world over. Let me take this opportunity to introduce my co host, Mr. K.V. Premraj. Premraj is a futurist and he's a speaker on employee engagement, management, and leadership. He is the co-author of four books, all four of which have hit the number one bestseller spot on Amazon. His latest book was released just 2 weeks ago. Congratulations, Premraj.
Thank you, Deepak.
Premraj has 37 years experience in the banking and financial services space with experience in both public and private sector banks. He was the CEO of the BPO arm of a leading private sector bank in India. On our show today, we have a dynamic personality and she joins us all the way from the Netherlands. I hand it over to Premraj to introduce her and take the session ahead. Over to you, Premraj.
Thank you, Deepak. Thank you for that very flattering introduction. Yes, we have a very interesting personality on the show today. Anna, who is an active volunteer participant of the global initiative, the Creative Society Project. She's involved in hosting TV shows, social research, organization of interviews, and roundtables. She has experience in the banking sphere and is currently working as an English teacher for kids. She has recently moved to the Netherlands. Communication with people from different countries and backgrounds, human approach, teamwork, and constant learning is a source of inspiration. That's quite a mouthful. Let's know more about this interesting personality. Welcome to the show, Anna.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much. Greetings, everyone. It's an honor and pleasure to be here today. So looking forward to our conversation.
So let's start. You have moved to the Netherlands recently. Talk us about your childhood in your native country and how is it and the reason that you moved from one country to another. Take us to your origin stories, what the participants would be interested in.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the question. And in fact, I would say that moving from one country to another, it's becoming like one part of my life. And so to say, if to say about my childhood, I cannot say that there is something very special about it. But there was always feeling like, as I'm originally from Ukraine, and for me, my country was always place where I feel comfortable. No matter to which city I'm going, no matter to which part I'm going, it's always, I felt like the whole country is my native place, and I really like that feeling. And at the same time, I had a feeling like, okay, I wish my kids and me in my life to feel like whole world is my native place. And when you can move to any part of the world and you feel comfortable there, and it's very interesting always to meet new people, to know some different cultures, to study something new. So that was, I think, my wish from childhood, and something which for me was very obvious and very natural. And if to say about moving from one country to another, as of today, I have two my native countries. I would say this is Ukraine and India, because this is country to which I also moved and stayed there for quite a long time. And now I feel very happy and proud that I can say that I have two countries where I feel at home. And it's really wonderful, because when I moved, for example, to India, it was for me first a little bit unusual, because I did not know much about the country. I did not know much about people and so on. And it seems like you're coming to another part of the world, which is completely different at the first glance. But when you start communicating more with people, when you start getting to know customs, traditions, language, some styles and so on, you understand that we're not that different, that in fact so many things, even in our culture, so many things in our daily communication and so on, they're very much similar. And then it gave me, I don't know, it gave me immense pleasure, because you understand that you went to another part of the world, which people are saying completely different from your place, but you find out that it's not different. It's the similar way when you start learning, studying these details, when you go a little deeper into history, into studying the people around, you understand, no, we all have the same. We have even similar traditions, even when we will take those holidays, which I had in my country and we were celebrating, and holidays which with my family we were celebrating in India. So you find out even connection between them, and they even coming to the similar dates and some similar traditions, how to celebrate them and so on. That's why it was for me really like opening new world, but at the same time understanding that really the whole world is similar and all people are same. And as with my husband, we moved recently to Netherlands. So for me, it's already like something, if we will take Ukraine and India, these are two very different countries. If we'll take already Netherlands, it's something closer to my native country. And that's why I'm already not feeling like I'm moving somewhere to very different place. It's like already that feeling that no matter which part of the world you go, you feel like at home, because you meet people, and very helpful here also when you know language, at least a little bit, because that is helping you to feel that real authentic flavor of that country, real relationship with people when you start talking in their language and understanding that. So that's really also very, very helpful. And I'm happy that I have that skill to learn languages, and this is also inspiring. So I don't know, this is shortly like about moving from one country to another, and now Netherlands, I understand that it's again some new chapter in my life, because new country, new people, new language, some new customs, and this is always interesting. Some people may say it's challenging, but it's interesting, because you're again making your worldview wider, you are getting some new connections, and it's inspiring, in fact. So I hope that was answer for the question.
Yes, yes, it was an interesting chapter, interesting movements that we have had, and you're proving it. The world has narrowed into a neighborhood.
Yeah, that's true.
You're part of the creative society movement. Can you elaborate what is this society and what is the aim of this society? And what is it that you're propagating?
I would say that when we're talking about creative society, as I said about that feeling that whole world should be like one big family, which I had from childhood, when I get to know that there are already people who have the similar vision, who already act towards making such world, and there is understanding that we really can build world where you go to any part of the world, you meet person, and you know that you will meet friend. that any person in the world will help you. And that when I met the Creative Society project, when I got to know about it, that what made me feel like, oh, how wonderful, I found what I was searching for, and I found those people who already do that. And if we will talk about Creative Society itself, about project, it started thanks to people. Because while communicating, like participants of ALLATRA International Public Movement, they were conducting social researches all over the world, and all people are saying the same things. We all want to live happily and peacefully. We all want to see beautiful world, and many people say, "Well, human, there is nothing that divides us." So it's inspiring. It's wonderful when you see such. You see people, as we always say, we are so different. But when you see all of this so different at the first glance, people. But you understand that no, we all want the same. And my own experience also showed that people from different parts of the world, but we want the similar things. And that's why I started this project, because came understanding, wow, it's 99% people of the world who want the same things. So why we're not doing that? Why we still have some conflicts, why we still feel like we're divided, why we're not just saying that aloud, that we all want the same, and asking our neighbors, so are you also want the same? And finding out that, yes, it's true. And thanks to today's technology and all the platforms, we have this possibility to communicate. We have possibility to call person in, I don't know, Latin America, in the USA, in African countries, and ask them, so do you also want the same? And that's wonderful, because we get to know each other, and we understand that we as humanity, we have one goal. If to ask any person, and when we talk about creative society, it's society where human life is the highest value, and all conditions are directed towards improving quality of human life. And I don't think there is any person in the world who will say something against it, because everyone wants to live good, everyone wants to have all the conditions to feel comfortable, to feel secure, because only when we feel secure, when we feel confident, comfortable, we can really grow. We can have that possibility to open our inner potential when we do think like, okay, what will happen if I will do that? Or I don't have means to study something new or something like that. Or when we're just worried about many things, who can say something about creative ideas or anything if person is in constant stress, which unfortunately is also nowadays one of the problem of the whole humanity. So that's why Creative Society project, in fact, it's an initiative of people. There is no founder, there is no one person who made this idea, but it's just what people from all over the world want. And thanks to those participants who understood that, yes, I also want that, and let's us together do it. So on the platform of ALLATRA International Public Movement, people just started gathering and doing it together. Because when you find like-minded people and you understand that together we can do much more than alone, and then you are inspired by acting, then you start inspiring each other. This project is really, the aim of the project is global to create such world where we can live happily, the world which we can feel proud to live for our children, the world where really we can feel secure. And as of today, we have all the means, we have all the technology, scientific researches and everything. And now it's like time for us to make this choice. We as humanity, we're like making decision. So do we want it? We all want it from inside, but we did not voice it. And now it's time for us as humanity to understand, yes, we really want it, we voice it, and we unite, because we understand, oh, we all want the same. So we unite and build it together. That's why I think this is a unique initiative, because it's from people to people. There is no one's personal, from one side, there is no one's personal benefit from that, but it's benefit for all. Because in the end, every person is getting beautiful world with good healthcare, good education, when you have all the truthful information, and when you have everything, when you live comfortably, you can educate yourself, you can develop, and you can strive for the best goals in your life. So I think this is just initiative which is becoming, well, way of lifestyle for all the people. And it's very important that to build such world, we can only together. Only when all people in the world understand this concept, understand their vision and what is creative society for me, and we take decision. Because the moment we take decision, all other factors, all other circumstances, they seems like falling apart. Everything is coming like, like when you created some design of the building and you already know how it looks, then you will find all the means, you will find all the tools to build it. But the first and very important step is to understand that, take this decision, and just to make first step. As all people are saying, first step is the most difficult, but it's the most significant. So this is just shortly about the project.
Well, quite an interesting concept. And the world, I said, narrowed into a neighborhood. Now it's bordered into a brotherhood and sisterhood too. I believe the society is based purely on volunteer participation. How is it that you're able to get so many people to be volunteers to this cause?
In fact, you're right that all participants of the project, they participate at free from work time, free from family time, by own means. And how we can get people to be volunteers? Here is the key. We are not getting people to be volunteers. We are volunteers. It's like, like when there is no, you are not forcing anyone. You're not saying, okay, I will give you something if you will join. So we are doing it by our own wish, by our passion. And when people see that, they get inspired, they understand, oh, I also can do that. I just can share my experience, why, for example, this project became so important for me, so to say, and why I'm participating in it. Because as I first said, I understood that there are people who already work towards the same goal which I have in my life, and I understand it is possible. Then you start studying everything. You start studying what's project about, is really happening that what they're talking about, what is happening in the world, and you start studying different spheres. You study about economics, you study about climate, about all the issues, and you look at that model which people in this project, they so to say building, and you with some time you understand, yes, this is the only way out. No one else is giving any model like that, and this is really one which is working. You can find scientific proofs and so on. And from another side, if to talk about work in the project, it's really wonderful experience, because can you imagine just team where is no manager, where is no director? It's like, for example, there is some project, all people gathering in team, and we decide, okay, we need to do this, and then every person say, some share some idea how to do that, or saying, okay, I want to do this part, or I want to take that part, and everyone is taking responsibility. It's a very interesting step, because you learn how to take responsibility by yourself, without knowing that someone will motivate you from outside, so to say, or someone will punish you if you will not do that. You just take the step yourself. It was for me very interesting period when I was learning that as well, because sometimes you think, okay, if I will take something but I will not do, oh, whole team will we will not meet that deadline or anything else. But then even if you do mistake, the whole team is trying to back up, support, help you to do that, find out why it's not working, because you all have one goal. And when you have one goal, you do everything to support your teammate and to do everything that you all will reach that goal. And it's really wonderful. Many companies nowadays spending lots of money for motivation of their employees for doing something. But thanks to participation in this project, I see that it's working when we all understand what we're doing. We all have similar goal. And then there is no thing about, oh, I did mistake or not. It's like you all becoming like one big team, supporting each other. And it's giving you so much, you're becoming so much grateful to these people, because you understand that thanks to team only, you got the skills, you got this confidence, maybe you were able to do this. And if you will look at projects and initiatives which are done by volunteers, many people don't believe that it's done by volunteers. Some people saying it cost millions of dollars to create one of such projects. Some people saying, how can you gather so many people? But that's the key, that no one is gathering people doing by own wish, by own will, understanding see how serious it is, because how important it is in our life. And it's also possibility to grow, to your personal growth, to develop that your own potential, to try in different spheres and to find in which way you can contribute the best.
Wonderful, wonderful. The concept of the society is so clear, due to which they don't have any problem in attracting volunteers to their cause. Well done.
We're just sharing. Yes, we are not interacting.
Taking this forward, open communication is the key to unity and common understanding of people, which I believe is one of the cornerstone of the messages that you spread. Would you please elaborate on this?
Yes, when we talk about just now, as we were discussing, for example, even about teamwork. So it's very important that people have the clear picture, what we do, how we do, and understand that. So open information, yes. That's why when we communicate, it's very important that we start understanding each other, because sometimes there can be different view, there can be different perspectives. Some people have different experiences, and it's very important to explain clearly. So what is happening, how it's working, and then I'm just saying now about project, for example, this communication is a vital because it's coming from person to person and it's open one. If to say about even simple, I will say daily communication between people and as we talk about, for example, creative society and the current format of our consumer society, the all problems happens due to miscommunication. No matter, is it in family, is it in company, is it between countries, but all questions happening when there is either lack of communication or people are not sharing information openly, like saying one thing, but behind thinking, okay, there is some different goal behind that. And that's why communication also, which I will just give one example. When we talked with one teacher from India as well, and she said that like they organized communication between students in Indian school, and they from simple rural area, they did not see big cities, even not to say about different countries. And also communication was with children from the UK who of similar age, and they were exchanging experience due to the lockdown after beginning of the pandemic. And how surprised were those kids when in India lockdown started a little earlier, in UK that was a little later. And it was so interesting, like first for kids from India, it was like shock because they did not see much foreign countries or foreigners. Well, they thought like, okay, these people are so different, they have some different skin color or whatever. But when they started talking, they understood, oh, they are the same. And she said it was so wonderful when the kids from Indian school, from simple school, they started sharing their experience about lockdown. Because kids in UK, for them it was just shock, it just started, and they did not know how to manage it. And here, kids from India, they started sharing their experience. Oh, we did like this or like that, and they started encouraging them and saying, okay, that's not so difficult. And they started sharing some ideas how you can make time better, how you can, I don't know, study in a better way, even when you're online, offline, and so on. And this communication, first of all, it has shown again kids that if there is different nationality, if there is different skin color, or if there is some different, it's not difference. In fact, it's yes, this is just some features, but they are not making us that different as it seems first when you think about that. And she was just sharing that it was a wonderful experience because kids understood that yes, there is no difference, they're the same kids, and this very valuable point of sharing experience. Because you understand, when we look at differences, we try to type of convince someone, right? Like, okay, this is like that or like this, it should be this way or that way. And it's becoming little type of communication when someone is trying to prove I'm right or not right. But when we understand that, in fact, we all face the similar problems in our life. In fact, we all overcome similar challenges and we're all people facing the same, then in communication, we can understand the similarity and we can share experience. And then it's completely different format of relationships. If relationships based on equality, relationships based on common understanding, and then it's really inspiring because if we're taking again kids and about learning or studying, when someone is coming and saying you have to study that because I said you have to study that, then I don't think many kids will be so much inspired to continue with that subject. But when kids have a question and coming with a question, okay, I don't know how to do that, And for example, I'm as a teacher saying, okay, I know this, let me share it with you. And it's becoming friendly relationships, because I'm not superior because I have learned some subject in my life. I'm the same human as you, simply I have a little more experience and I can share it with you. So this really change of format of relationships, this really changed completely our attitude towards each other. And it's again creating that feeling of team, because no matter which person you are meeting, you understand this is the same person as you are, and you have this feeling, especially maybe it's thanks to participation in creative society project, when you understand that we can build beautiful world only all together. And it's important that every person in the world understand this. So then you value every person, and whoever you meet, if that person has some questions or anything, you always try to do your best to explain, to support, because you understand that it's so valuable and it's so important for us to become humanity, one big team, and then only we can really have bright future with perspectives. As of today, unfortunately, not many people are talking about perspectives. Mostly people are talking about solving problems which we have. But we need to unite, and then we can have perspectives for brighter development, for better future for all of us. And then, I don't know, exploring space, other planets, whatever. But we can move towards that when we become like this team. So I think communication is a key. It helps us to understand a lot, and it helps us really to go step up, because many people, they even afraid to talk. But when we talk honestly, when we talk from heart to heart without hiding anything, because we understand that this is same human in front of you, and what can I do? How can I share? How can I learn from this person? Then it's changing a lot. And this is really beautiful. This is changing your life and vision of every person in the world.
Beautifully put, beautifully put. You mentioned about kids and the perspective that they bring in. So let's dwell a bit more on the kids. How do you take care of self-motivation and development interests and talents of kids?
Yes, as I was just saying also about motivation, right? Kids, they have this natural aspiration to learn something new. If you will look at any child, they will not sit for a second. They will just run somewhere, take something. If they start talking, they will talk about everything they see around. You will not be able to stop to make them stop talking. They will be repeating every word you are saying. They will be repeating the position how you are standing or anything, because they are learning. They are learning constantly, and they have this natural strive to learn. And here is coming this very important question, how to support this learning instead of stopping it. Because sometimes we as parents or as teachers, we're becoming very much concerned about what is right or what is wrong, how it will look, and so on. And we somewhere stop our kids from like, okay, don't do this, this is not good. And kid does not understand why it's not good, right? When I don't know, if kid is going to take something which can be breakable, right? You have a beautiful vase and it may break. And the moment just when kid is trying to reach that, you are afraid, oh, he or she will break it. So I just need to stop that kid. But that moment, you stop also this initiative of a kid, this aspiration to learn something new. They want to understand what is that object? How can I hold it? How can I do something? They see that mother, for example, is taking that vase and doing something with that. So they also want to learn the same. And here it's so very important for parents, for teachers to have this patience, first of all, to feel confident and to feel secure that, okay, no matter what ways will happen, I can help how to manage it. Then you are allowing that kid who you can take a vase and give in his or her hand and say, okay, you need to be careful, otherwise it can break, or you need to keep it on floor, don't hold it like that. And then kid is learning something new. Then kid is developing without fear that something is more important than this inner strive for development. Because this very special inner strive of every person, which you have in childhood especially, This is the most important because it's natural strive to learn, to cognize the world, to understand yourself and what is happening around. This is that, but I don't know, it may be that creative spark which is giving to every person. And when we think that the base is more important than the spark and the potential of a human, then it may break many things. That is what may break from childhood. And then what we see again, like format our society, right? When we value external things more than human, more than development of the human, we see that kids who at school, who in childhood strive to learn everything, communicate, share, give, after some time, they became like in a box. They stick to some one particular way, one particular profession or something, and they are afraid to make any step towards any side. They start thinking about, okay, what people will think, how I will look. And this is like, they forget this inner inspiration, this inner strive to learn, to develop, and to cognize something new. And I'm really very grateful that from one side, I also had that in my school years that, okay, I had so many wishes to do something, to act, but that feeling, okay, what people will say about me, how I will look, better I will sit here silent and do nothing. Unfortunately, no one explained me in childhood that all people more worried about themselves than about people around them. So unfortunately, no one told me about that at that time, and I lost some period of my life which I did not do more. But I'm very grateful that after some time I learned that in fact there is no outside barrier. This is only what we think and those patterns which we're learning, which we're getting throughout the life. But it's very great. There was one psychologist who was saying that till the age of 13, 14 years old, you can make kids change. You can influence his or her behavior, habits, etc. When a person is crossing this age, there is no way that someone will impose change on that person, but it can come only through own will, when that person will wish to change. That's why here again, coming that very fragile attitude towards people around us, when we not trying to change someone, and if to know this rule, then it's impossible to change a person who is older than 14 years old. But when we find out the best qualities in that person, we try to notice those talents which are there and just to give little more attention towards that, just to give that support, create atmosphere of security, create atmosphere where a person can feel relaxed. It's okay if I will do mistake. We all do mistakes. This is natural. This is process of growing. And kid before starting walking, falling 1,000 times, but it's not stopping that kid from walking. So that's why I think education and inspiring, it starts from us. When we're inspired, when our eyes are just, I don't know, look at something new and think, I need to learn that, then you definitely can share this feeling with other people. And when you observe yourself, what is helping you to learn and what is stopping you from that, you can understand how to help other people because they have the similar things that stop them and similar things that inspire them.
Great share, Anna. The kids are our future, and we should ensure that the spark they have is nurtured properly and not put into silos or compartmentalized. My last question to you before I hand over the proceedings to Deepak. In the development of every personality, how important is freedom of choice and a holistic approach?
Yeah, I think this is little already just now covered also with
a bit of it, yes.
Yes.
Let's dwell a bit deeper.
I just maybe I can add a few words about this when we're talking about this freedom of choice. That's coming along with creating the supportive environment because, as I said, you look what person wants, what talents or skills he or she has, and you help in that way. And also here, not to be over, like sometimes we try with people we love, we try to make secure and protect them. But, and that way we don't allow them to grow. This is very important with being over. I also experienced that while participating in projects of Latvia International Public Movement, when you think you know better and you try to explain that person the best ways to do that and to make it secure, that process will go. But after some time, you understand it's not working because we're all getting own experience. And only when we share, when we feel confident, when we feel comfortable to share our ideas, to share everything, that only we can do something better. That's why freedom of choice, I think it's the most valuable and the most precious thing which we always need to respect. Because only in that way, person really can grow and person really can make right choices. When we try to protect from something harmful, in fact, we are making more harm because we are not, we are creating tension, we are creating fear, and people can act only out of love or out of fear. So what we are emphasizing, what we are giving more attention, and what atmosphere we're creating around us, that's really very important.
Beautiful. Now I'll request Deepak to take it forward. Deepak, all yours.
Thank you, Premraj. And the last 35, 40 minutes has been an interesting conversation. And I want to take Anna where she started. She said, I have got two home countries. One is Ukraine and one is India. Tell us a little bit about your connection and your time in India. What did you do and how it has changed you?
In fact, my connection in India, I'm married to a person from India. And that is like very tight connection. That's why you have two native countries. And yes, it took time to learn because you understand that that's country where you will live. This is country where you will spend your life. And that it's very valuable to learn about culture, learn about traditions, language, and to study everything because this is the only way where you can feel comfortable. If initially, for example, I was coming to the street not understanding what people are talking around me, and it was making me even feel scared because you don't know what's going on and you don't understand that. Then after some time, when you already learn language, when you already observe people, understand better why and what we're doing, right? Because we sometimes have some small habits, some small traditions which may look a little strange and not understandable for other people. But when we study them, but when we understand what is the meaning of those actions or words, then it makes you feel more comfortable, it makes you feel more at home. And that's why in India, yes, it was for me a way of exploration, learning, communicating with people, because you get to know new family, you get to know people around you. And I stayed in few places in India as well. And India, when someone is asking me, what is India or how India is looking or something like that, I'm saying, you can never answer about whole India because it's so big, it's so diverse, it's so beautiful and unique that I cannot say anything about India as a whole. I can say only about those places where I stayed, about those people whom I communicated. Yes. But India as a whole, it's a completely world, and you cannot make it something very one. No, it's one because people are similar. It's because people are making this country. But about some customs, traditions, or anything, it's always very interesting and very diverse.
Yes, thank you for sharing this. And this brings me to the question that India as a whole, is a mixture, is a makeup of small, different religions, cultures, languages, traditions. This is what the creative society is actually wanting the world to become. One whole common place where there are no borders, where possibly somebody doesn't say, I'm an American, I'm a European, I'm a Russian, I'm an Indian, I am a global citizen, I'm a citizen of the world. Is it practical? Is it possible that this thing can happen? I'm not saying we shouldn't try, but do you think this is possible? Can this be done? And the second part of this question will be with reference to the erstwhile Soviet Union, the USSR. That is what it tried to do. It wanted to make everybody equal. All states were part of one country, a big whole Soviet republic, and everybody was thought to become equal. We all know that that experiment didn't work. So your views on one, trying to go back and do something which didn't work, and whether it is possible or not.
Yeah, thank you for the question. This is in fact a question which concerns many people who meet the concept of creative society, and very often it's coming to the concept of communism, right? When all people equal, we all work and share equally everything what we earn, or something like that. I would like also just to start maybe from this question first, and then about is it possible to make so diverse people the united? I would say just one thing. This is a type of pattern which we have that when we tell everyone is equal, then it shows like we have to wear equal dress, get equal income. I don't know, no matter on which position you're working, which is nearly impossible. It's not nearly impossible. It's simply impossible, because how can you say that person who is dedicating much time, having like, I don't know, organized big team or something, and he or she should get the same income as person who is doing some small thing and spending less time? This is not possible. And this pattern is coming because it's not, I would say, it's not right understanding of equality. We are people, we are human, and that what makes us equal. Equal in meaning of human relationships, equal in meaning of value of life, equal in meaning of right to have good life. When we talk about creative society, it's not saying that we have to, I don't know, whatever you or me earning, we are keeping all money together and equally sharing between other people. No, it says that every person, first of all, is guaranteed good living. When human is born, he or she need to have good medical care, health, education, housing, all the necessary things for good living. It's ensured. If you wish, you may not to work even. That is up to you. We have nowadays in society also people who don't want to work, who don't want to do that. But we are not making them dignified life. And when they feel not as dignity, persons start committing crime and doing things which then cost for us as society much higher cost. Yes. Sometimes it costs money, sometimes it costs someone's life. That's why the creative society, a society where we create conditions for every person to feel as human, and you deserve to have comfortable conditions when you born, and that is your right as a human. At the same time, if you want to have your business, if you want to do something more, it's up to you. It's your money, you earn that, you grow, you do everything. So there is no, everyone is not equal in terms of same lifestyle or same job or same income. No, everyone is equal in right to be a human, to be respected, to be treated as a human. And at the same time, there is also one emotion which we have in current condition of our society, when we people feel, who am I to take any decision about society? Who am I to give any idea if I don't have such status, if I don't belong to this or that country or this or that some level? Who am I to do that? But we forget that every person has experience, every person has potential, and we as humanity, we're just losing those opportunities when we try to divide people by some statuses or anything. It's wonderful. Like, its concept is to look not on name, but on what person can do, and give this opportunity to do. We don't know where is the next Einstein is born. Maybe he is born in some country where he simply cannot get education and possibility to write or read. This is lost for us as humanity. We're not giving to that person. So I think about equality I little explained, and about is it possible to make so diverse people of different nationalities, cultures equal? Yes, because no one is saying that we need to forget our culture, our language, and so on, and now choose someone only and follow all of that. No, that's not true. Our culture, our history, our traditions, it's something which makes us. And it's something which we need to keep, we need to remember it, because person who loses his or her history and roots, this is person who has no future. We are learning from that. But we unite as humanity because we have one goal. We all want to live good. We all want human life to be the most respected and most valuable. And when we unite on this basis, then our differences in culture, traditions, and so on, it's a way to enrich each other. we start learning about each other. We're not saying this is wrong because this is not like mine. We understand this is also human, but they have different, and it's becoming interesting to learn about that different and understand what good I can take from that culture, what good I can take from this customs, what good we can implement all together. And then it's opportunity for us as humanity to find the best experiences, to find the best approaches. And then it's like evolution. We ourselves will decide what is better to take, what is better to combine, and maybe bring something new. If there is something which is not beneficial for us, it will go by itself. There is no need to fight. There is no need to go against anything. It's need to find the best. And that's why then different cultures, different customs, different nationalities, it's just benefit for us because it's different opportunities to find the best approaches.
Yeah, I think you've explained it very, very well. It is it is unity in diversity. It is not about everyone being the same, but everyone being human, everyone getting basic common medical care, basic education, housing, clean water, a chance to grow, learn, and become better. Very, very well said. Thank you, Anna, for saying that. And you are just now in Holland, in the Netherlands, in a country which is now a part of Europe. Europe has taken that first step, to become a common Europe where there is a common currency where people can travel borderless, from one country to another. So the first step in trying to become what you are planning the world to be has probably already been taken. Maybe even baby steps, but somebody is trying, somebody is making the effort. And in our lifetime, maybe in the next generation, what we are dreaming of, what we've started, is something probably we will be able to achieve. So the logical next question for someone who's listening into this or who's watching this live on Facebook and other places is, how does one connect with the creative society? How does one want to become one with what you are doing, to join you, or to say become a volunteer for this society?
In fact, it's very easy because to become participant of Creative Society, we don't have any registration certificate or anything like that. It's about action and aspiration of a person. And to become a participant, anyone can write to their email address of allatraunites.com to find the contact form. And there is also the forum, Join Us, which is also one type of important, this form I will shortly say about it, and then maybe we will continue about participation opportunities, that this form there you can find the option, do I simply support the project Creative Society? Do I support the project and I'm ready to support the electoral platform, which is already second step of implementation of the project? Or do I want to become an active participant? And this simple step, it's already, as I said today, we need to voice out how we want to live. We need to voice out, but there is no need for some meetings, becoming revolutions on street or something. No, this needs to be our decision, and this needs to be our way of communication. That's why one person even support a project and want to make at least some small steps towards that, it can be simply join the button and say, I support it. This is already one of small steps, because it's important to understand how many of us already understood the concept, how many of us are ready to move to the next stage, and so on. And to become participant, I would say the best way is to join team and look how it's looking from within. Because the concept of creative society and the relationships in participation of projects which are happening inside, many people even cannot imagine or understand how it's functioning, because it's way different from what we see around. And the only way is to experience that. To try to join some project. The team is always happy to support if in any way they're possible. When person wants to join, want to become, as of now, their first stage, information stage, and to reach every person in the world, explain what is creative society, because only when we understand, we can build it. And when we're talking about time, how fast to build it, there are no decades. There is really need of humanity to build it within next 5, max to max 10 years, because already today we are facing hunger, we are facing climate disasters, we are facing many issues, which is giving us only few years to make really decision and to become humanity which can tackle it. Otherwise, it costs people life even. So creative society is something very wonderful and needed for us at the same time. That's why participation, it can be any way just to reach participants, to communicate, to understand what is project, to become a co-host, for example, of the interviews, to invite someone to discuss, because every discussion, it brings new insight. 1 year ago, when I started, a little more than 1 year ago, when I started participating in Creative Society, for me it was, oh, it's something great, it's something interesting, I wanted, but I did not understand how it's working. I had some doubt even, will it work or not? Today, I understand how it's working. I have no doubt. I'm sure that we can do it in very short period of time. It can be even 5, max to 10 years, and even maybe less. So, but it's up to us. And the more people have this understanding, the more people learn about it, the faster we are doing it. Because every next participant is so big impact for the global result. We saw it experience when we were conducting big conferences and so on. No matter, the person can do one thing which will cost him or her 2-3 minute time, but in the global effect, it will give a big result for all. So participation completely open, just to reach any participant, to come to website, and everyone will be happy to communicate and go further.
Thank you. So anyone who is interested in connecting with the Creative Society, just visit alatraunites.com. You will get all your options. Everything is mentioned over there. There is the Creative Society. There is the Alatra International Public Movement. It is talking about the global crisis. There is an international online conference which is happening on the July 24th. You could register, you could partake in that and be a part of the Creative Society. Before I hand it over to Premraj for the closing comments, I would like to thank you, Anna, for taking out time on a Sunday morning, joining us, explaining to us, wholeheartedly, with all your passion. Clearly, it shows that you love what you're doing. You want people to join with you. There is a clear destination. We want the world to become one. All the humanity needs to unite so that every human is treated properly, gets universal health care, yet every child gets good education. You gave that example. There is probably an Einstein who has been born at some place in some country. If he may or may not get that education, which will spark him to become the greatest scientist of the future. Thank you for joining in. Over to you, Premraj.
Thank you, Deepak. And thanks to all the participants who are on the show, on the Zoom platform, and many, many others on Facebook. Thank you for your continued support. Anna, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you for invitation.
We have had an interesting exchange of ideas. The society with which you are associated in aspiring to create a new world order. Commendable idea being pushed by a dedicated band of volunteers. Bloom is privileged to be associated with this idea and look forward to more association with you. Thank you and God bless.